So yes, first of all, like the last session, I could not upload somehow. So tomorrow or by today end of the session, I will upload the last session where I had explained how to write the parser and all those things till this point. So maybe this particular Excel parser py file you might have found in the on the drive, but the recording related to the initial part up to which I had explained, that video I haven't uploaded. So maybe both of the videos, that video and today's video, you might find by end of the session today. Okay, so let me move further. So till now we have seen how we can actually parse the workbook. Okay, so this was our workbook. Okay, and this was the sheet which we had used, and then accordingly we had used sheet by name. Now what is our challenges to get the values from these files, right? So like what you see in this Excel sheet. So the same thing, if I say I want to get the rows, print, what is this? This is the reference of login sheet. Okay, so print login sheet dot row row values. Okay, and 1 comma 1. Okay, or maybe if you say 1, what is this? I will explain you. See here, what did it return first of all? If you see here, if I do control click, it redirects me to saying that what is the first parameter? The number of row. The row x is nothing but the number of rows. Okay, and start x means the column from which you want to start, and end column means if you don't mention, it will go up to the last column. Now before try to think too much on it, let me explain what exactly I'm trying to do. Is here the name is row underscore values. What is one parameter? So if you see, the first obvious parameter is row x. So the first row. Okay, row x means which row you want to get the values. Say I want to get the first row. So if you consider this as an Excel sheet, so this is the 0th row and this is the first row, this is the second row. Okay, so you can say this is the 0th row, then this is the first row, and this is the second row. So now considering this as the indexes, what row values is doing actually is we are giving 1 as the value. So from this Excel sheet, the index 1 will be taken as the parameter, and this row will be the point of highlight at this point. Okay, now consider this fact as well. So now what did I mention here? Row values. So when I say row values, the first parameter is the which row you want to consider. So what did I did? I just mentioned 1. So it returned me a list of values that are part of that particular row. So if you see, e student 1 was returned to me. Okay. Now, if I say this is a list, and if I wanted only uh, say a particular value from this, then you can use indexes amongst them as well. So consider this. This was the complete row. Okay, if I say now you print me the email address only. Okay, so see here, if I run this, so this was row underscore values 1, but if I give another, this is how we access the values from the list, right? So what did is I took the index from this list, because this is the value that has been returned in this particular entity, this variable. I would say this is a variable. So I take a zeroth index of this list, and this returns me this value. So in this way, you can fetch the values. Now, in another case, if you say, let me, okay, let me say, this is row values. Okay. If you say, okay, you give me individual username and password for each row. Okay. Team, are you getting at this point? Just before I move into further confusions for you.
Yeah, Pavan. So what is that we are seeing just above the line that you are highlighted? You learn and the you student. Where did that you came from?
Oh, that is the Unicode. Uh, this is the format in which mostly the lists are returned by, some of the Python modules. So you don't have to worry at this moment. Okay, you can fetch the values from the list by using their indexes, and it will return this. At this moment, just consider that U is nothing but a Unicode value kind of thing is returned as part of list values. Okay. So any
Pawan,
yeah, Kavita.
uh, Pawan, in our Excel sheet, first row is the email and the password, the name we gave, right? Yeah, username and password.
Yeah.
So when we give index 0, it will not take that?
When we give index 0, so
Yeah.
row X will take value as 0. So in this Excel sheet, 0th row is this one. So you will get username, password as the name. But we don't want
Okay.
this, right? Because
Yeah.
what is our intention? We have to automate our login test case using these values and not this value. Are you going to enter in the username field when the login comes? Are you going to enter username as the text, or is it elearn student, dot one, this particular text you are going to enter? These are the two things.
Yeah. So we gave index 0, right? That's my confusion.
See,
I got here
okay,
row values.
okay. Let me say this way: print. Uh, what I need to say, the row, the first row in the sheet is like this. Okay. So this is the list that we might expect. Okay, and let me get this to some variable rather than first row value. Sorry. Okay, so see, consider this as the fact that if I run this, okay, this percent X, and let me do it. So what is it saying? The first row in the sheet is this. Okay, but so this I just printed for your reference, and now I have this first row value in this variable because I gave this as the number. And what is the first number? So if you do control click here, from left to right, whatever parameters you give in your script, those are taken as their uh, default values. So if I say in row values here, if I give 1 as the value, so from left, self is not getting that value. Row X is going to get that value. So row X means what? First row. Okay, I haven't given these values. So these will be considered as by default 0 and none. Okay, so that's why it returned the whole the whole row that is part of that particular sheet. Okay, see this one. So now if you go from top to bottom, so this is the zeroth row, this is the first row. We haven't mentioned anything about start column or end column at this moment. Okay. Now, now I know that the first row underscore values will have this as the list entry. Now from this list entry, I want to get the username password, right? So I say that the first username equal to first row value, it is 0, which will return me elearn.student.1@gmail.com. Okay. So, and the first user password. Can anyone help me? What would be the password? It would be this one, right? Hema and Kavita, are you able to follow what I'm trying to say?
Yep.
Okay.
Or we can write here first username equal to first column value 0 and password equal to first.
Why column value?
Because you're giving 0 and 1, right? So it's taking 0 from the first.
Yeah.
No,
But
or
it's
I got it.
confusing, Kavita, because we are taking two rows only, right? Although what you said is right, but if you are following the columns, if you are writing password under the second line, then we can write it that way.
Yeah.
But you write like
Yeah. So when I say row values, and if I give 1 as a parameter, then it will take all the values. If I write like this, right? Suppose say anything, irrespective of whatever, it will take all the values here. You never know, tomorrow you might add any more fields, but you know that these columns are fixed. So why then let us write the code accordingly, that first row values equal to this, and the parameter is first row. Okay, you are not mentioning which column, from which column you have to pick from that particular row. Okay, you have just mentioned row values in the first row. That's why this first row values returned us this value, the list of all the values. If I would have run this again, oh, again to download this. So this is the overhead now. Hmm, okay. So let me see if I move this here. Yeah. So now I downloaded that updated sheet and replaced here. And if you see, the first means first row in the sheet. So I mean to say this sheet. When I write first row in the sheet, this is this sheet I'm referring to. because uh, though it is ideally speaking, this is a second row in the sheet, but for us, the index starts from 0. That's why I've written the first user. I would say this name would make sense. The first user details in the sheet. Uh, this would make more sense. So the first user details in the sheet are this. Okay. Now, if I say uh, what is this? Print first username. Okay. And for this, I will say print first user password. Okay. You can say like this. The first user name is equal to. It is anyways a string, so we can do like this. And for this, the first user user's password is equal to this way. So if I run this again, now you can see this. This would make more sense when we read the console output. So the first username is equal to this, and the first user's password is this. Now, can anyone help me that I want the next users, that is second users details I want to do? Kavita or Hema, anyone? I know Sudhir can answer this, but still I want Hema and Kavita to help me on this.
Second underscore row values equal to login underscore sheet dot row values to uh, in the bracket 2.
Okay. Yeah. So half of the thing you achieved. So it's just that I have to copy paste this.
Yeah.
So here I write second username equal to second row value second username and this one. Okay. So does this make sense for everyone? Now if you see the second username, it is dot two. So it took the second row from this. That means it took actually the third index. So because we gave here row underscore values, whatever index value we give, it is actually the index that starts from 0. So 0, if you would have given row underscore value 0, then it would have taken this as the row. But we have given 1 because we want actual values to be used while we are inputting uh, in our test cases. So that's why we started with index 1. So row values 1. Okay. So now rather than doing so many variables and all those things, we could actually said that the second username or the first username is nothing but uh, the login sheet row values, and then like this this would have actually returned us directly, because we are just adding an index which would have actually returned us the list value. But as of now, just to keep things simple, I just wrote this code a more, in a more elaborative way, so that step by step you can figure out what exactly we did. Now, the thing is, if there are n number of sheets, for example, sorry, if there are n number of users that keep on adding, and you want to do the login test case verification for all those things, will you keep on adding these values like this? No, right? In that case, it would be good if you can uh, if you can actually run the test case uh, for that number of times, as much as you have those user details. The total user details, how many details are there? So first user details, and then second user details. So how many total rows would be there? N rows minus 1 would return us 2. So we want to run the login test case for 2 times only, right? But how we can take that counter? So we can take that counter like this. See here at the top what we did, the total rows in the sheet is equal to 3, which was correct. But we don't want to run the login test case that we want to do 3 times. We don't want to run it 3 times, but we want to run only 2 times. So we will say n rows minus 1 in that case. Okay. So we will move back to our login function. Okay. And we will try to write the same test case. We will try to drive this particular test case using the Excel sheet data. Okay, and twice we will try to run. So this is a simple Excel parser that I wanted to show you all. Okay, and let me create a new file, copy, and let me paste it here, and I will say data driven login function. Okay, so if I go here and I want to run that Excel sheet, okay, so let me first convert, let me first catch those n rows again. So how did I do that? Here, and from the top, first again I will copy these things. Okay, and I will use it here. Sorry, data driven function. Okay, so what did I do? The same thing with XLRD open workbook. I chose the test data.xls file, and in this login sheet I have cached that particular sheets, the whole details, and login sheet.enrows is actually returning me the 3 as a value, because there are 3 rows in the sheet as of now. But we have to start from index 1 in that sheet, and from index 1, for every values that we are getting, we have to do all these functions, right? So now sorry guys, so now we are going to run a for loop. Okay, so for loop, I hope you all remember the simple for loops that we had done. Okay, now for 2 times we have to do that. Okay, so what exactly I have to achieve is run the login case for those number for the times, maybe I would say run the login case for those number of users found in Excel sheet or found in the data source. So in our case we have only 2 users, but there are 3 rows. So we have to put a counter, that is the for loop, for only 2 times, that which will execute the login case for 2 times, and it will actually perform our expected actions for those respective credentials what we give to it. So here I will say for uh, say for num user index equal to 1. See, now what exactly I am trying to show you is I want to run a for loop which will start from this index, take a username and password, and then execute this whole thing for us. Okay, this whole thing for us, and then once it performs the login, then again it should move back and move to the next row of that Excel sheet and take these values and do that login function again for me. Okay, till this point, team, are you fine, and are you getting what I'm trying to show you?
Yes, Pawan.
Kavita and Hema?
Yeah, Pawan.
Yes, Pawan. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pawan.
So for let's consider user index in range from where, from 1 to n, sorry, what is this, login sheet dot n rows minus 1. What exactly I mentioned here is, okay, sorry, this is a range type of for loop I am using. What did I say? The user index is something that will start from 1, okay, and up to 2, because here I know that the value 3 will be returned, so 3 minus 1 equal to 2. So from 1 to 2 the loop will run. Okay, so
Pawan, I have a question here. It should start with 0, right? Because
yeah,
the range is
I will
0 or 1.
see now that there are two different ways that if you want we can start with 0 as well. Okay, so if you say user index, but I know that okay, let us say this way, we are taking user index. Now what will happen, it is the range is from 0 up to 2. Means if you remember the value that is coming as the maximum range, we don't execute that particular maximum number loop, right? Now 2 is there, so 0 and 1, so only 2 times this loop will execute, because login sheet and rows, if I give like this, sorry, minus 1, login sheet dot enrows is nothing but, it is right now the value is 3 for us, and 3 minus 1 is nothing but 2. So ideally speaking, so the range is from 0 up to 2 and not till 2. So 0
Yeah.
and 0 comma 1 is the value at the runtime it will get, 0 comma 2, sorry, and the user index in every loop it will get 0, and then in the next loop it will get value as 1. So we have to smartly use this user index as a variable for our for loops. Okay, now what is user index?
Pawan, can you explain one more time? Because earlier you said it is 1, and when Sudhir asked, you changed it to 0, right? And right now, 0 is something that it is going to show the from the Excel sheet, right? The zero value, the zero value of row is what it's going to show, right?
Yeah, now I am going to use that row values kind of thing. So actually,
We
Sudhir,
don't need the value zero anymore. We don't need the value of zero, right? Because it's just the title.
hmm. So user index actually should start from one, ideally speaking, because we have to consider Excel sheet index as our user index at this moment. So I don't want to confuse much. So let us consider, Sudhir, this we are starting from 1 and up to 3. Okay, so that the user index will first time take value as 1, and it will so user index is nothing but the first this particular index, and then user index 2 will take this as the row. Okay, now uh, user underscore index in range 1. So what I want to take is the username value. So the username equal to uh, login sheet. Okay, row values bracket. I know that this is the user index because first this loop will start with 1 as the value, and now when I give row underscore values as 1, so first time this user index will take value as 1, and username, this particular variable, will get actually the first row. I would say the first user details, I would say like this. It won't be because this variable won't sound convincing for every loop, so I just gave it as username equal to login sheet dot row values, and then I give it the bracket as 0, because this, for every row, the 0th index will return me. This is the 0 index of what it has returned from this particular value. Okay, this is not the 0th index of the Excel sheet, please don't confuse. Okay, mm, so this particular value, what I have highlighted, it will return for every loop, it will get me the complete row. So this is how it will return. Now I know that irrespective of whichever loop runs, the 0th index will always give me the username, and the first index will always give me the password. So that's why I take the 0th index from this list, which gives me username for sure, and user password is equal to login sheet dot row values. Again I take as user index because it is again the same row I want to consider. Just I want to take the first index from that list. Okay, so this is how I get a username and password. So if I comment out this whole code, okay, and if I say print username and print user password, right, if I run this, so what did it return? So how many times this loop ran is first you have to understand. It ran 2 times. Okay, so if you see, these two things got printed as first 2 lines of the console output, and then our loop started. So when user index was 1, it actually took the first row as all the values, and from this first row it actually returned me the list of values, right? That is the what I mean to say, the elearn, then elearn dot student dot one at gmail.com, and all those things, what all things are there in that particular row. From amongst them, I want only username. That's why I took the 0th index from that list, right? So that's why this got returned amongst the list. If I print this for your convenience, so ideally speaking, this print is just for your convenience. I am printing that what you will see. See here, this particular print has printed the list. Okay, from this list I want to get the 0th index because I want the value from that particular list. So 0 is the index value which I have specified to fetch the value, and so I assigned it to a particular variable, that is user underscore name. Similarly, if you see, for the same password, this similarly for the password field, I am getting this from the first index of that list. Okay, so this is the uh, thing that I have mentioned here, and this is the one first index from the uh, list that I'm trying to fetch the values. So I know that how many number of times I run this loop. At 0th index I will definitely get the username, and at the first index I get the password. So that's the reason I have kept this format. I cannot say that this is the password and this is the, sometimes you might end up ending incorrect values in incorrect columns. So this value will go as okay, let me, okay, if I run, I have to again replace that. But just imagine that if I run this code, instead of this line, what you see, you will see that 1212 will get as a print as for this particular username password variable. Okay, second time that it will run for the second row. I hope up to this point you guys have understood what I'm trying to show you.
No, Pavan. Actually, after you changing the value, I did not understand what you're trying. In
After
the row, you actually,
value, you mean to say?
yeah, you just changed something. Yeah, this one.
Yeah, just I what I wanted to share is, if you have such changes, then instead in this list, what you will get here for the second loop, instead of student one at the rate 123, you will get here 1212, and the third index you would have got student at the rate 123. Do you agree on this?
I
Yeah,
agree.
Pawan.
Agree?
Yes.
Yeah. So in that case, if I would have taken 1 as an index, for the first row it would have given me the correct value because I haven't changed the order of the first row. For the first row I haven't changed the values in password field or anything. But if I have changed the values in, and swapped something with the password field in the second row, then the index one would be this, is what it would have returned me. See, this is, see, very simple, that this particular function which I have written, it is actually returning the list values in the form of list that are fetched from the Excel sheet. So from this list values, which values you have to fetch, that decides with this particular index value that you give. This index has nothing to do with what you have in the Excel sheet. It is just what is there in this particular list values that have been returned from Excel sheet. Which value you want to fetch is something you have decided here. So always my pattern will be the zeroth index will always be the username for me. The first index in the list will always be the password for me, and rest others, they can be any other thing. So if I change the order, then it would have given me the incorrect values for the password field for the second user. That's the reason you have to maintain the precise order. So just for your as a one scenario, I had mentioned this. So you can I will revert this back. So is the Excel sheet again, the same thing. Now we have to use these username and password and doing those login related test cases. Okay, how we are going to do this? We are putting the whole thing in our for loop itself. Again, I uncomment this and I hit a tab, so that when I hit a tab, it actually is now, yeah.
We'll see. Let me just. Ama okay no, amanakana. Shankar, can you not disturb me?
Hello.
Sorry, Pavan, I didn't know that I was not on mute. Sorry.
Okay, no problem. So now, team, what I'm trying to show is this was a simple code that we had written where we had hard coded these values. Right now, I am going to use, instead of this, just elearn.student. This was the username that I had used for sending these keys, right, in the email field. Now I am going to send the variable as username, and here for the password I am sending here as user password. Now let me run this in a debug mode for you, okay, so that you will understand in a more sensible way. Okay, so let me put a breakpoint here. Now I'm going to run this in a debug mode. Okay, so now, okay, so if I press this step over, see what it printed in the Excel sheet, sorry, in the console. The total rows in the sheet are 3 and total columns are 4. Why it is showing now 4? Because we had added some extra things here. That's why now the total number of columns it considers as 4. It doesn't understand what is there in the 0th index. It sees what is the maximum dimension of the workbook. So the maximum dimension of our workbook is now 3 rows and 4 columns. Okay, that's the reason it shows these values that you see on the console. Now the next thing is step over again. Now see your team, what I'm doing now, we are entering into the for loop now. See here the variables section. Okay, so the first line of the for loop we executed. So what is the user index? You can see that has been highlighted. Now with user index as 1 as the value, now I say take this, where is this step over? If you see now, it has printed elearn.student.1. So now we are on the first index of the Excel sheet. Okay, now from this I fetched the username field. Okay, see here, if I do F6 again, now you can see here in the see here username, it has returned me this value. Okay, so now I want to get the password of this user. So again what I do, in the same loop I'm running. So in this variable I've got this particular username password. So now you see here this user underscore password has got this value. Okay, now with username and password as details in my hand. Now I will start executing my Selenium script. Okay, now I am going to drive my test case of login using the data that I have fetched from the Excel sheet, right? So this is the first time for the first user I am doing this login case. Okay, WebDriver, see the Firefox browser will launch for us. Okay, now the next thing is, again I have to do F6, it will load the page. Okay, so we are waiting for it. So it will delete all the cookies, whatever, if there are. Then it will maximize the browser. Let us see if it maximizes the browser. Yes, it has. Now come, so I will not explain these window handles again. I hope you might have got the idea till that point. So just I want to drive this login case with the data that we have fetched from Excel sheet is my focus of this session today. So now the home URL is this and page is this. I click on login option. So let's see, did it click? Yes, it has clicked me. Now I click again Google Plus option. See here, it has popped up with the login screen. Okay, now what will I do? I will move further here. See, now there are two window handles that have got, and they are list values. Okay, simple. From this list values I have fetched the first index because I know that this is the primary index, this is the primary window handle, and this is the pop-up window handle. So that's why I took 1 as the value, and I know that I want to switch to this pop-up window and do all these actions. So I switch to that pop-up window now. Okay, once executing that, and now I want to check if I have really moved to that particular pop-up window. So yes, it has printed the correct the particular window handle for us. So this is the pop-up windows handle. Okay, because we have done switch to that particular window of pop-up. So now I have got this in a variable so that I can use it as a reference. Okay, now the key thing comes. We have this username value. What? See, at this point of time we have username value as elearn.student.1. So when I say send keys username, it will enter this value. And you might have noticed now nowhere in this script I have entered elearn.student.1 at gmail.com as a hardcore value in this script, but we have actually fetched these values from Excel sheet and used them in a variable called user underscore name, and then have sent, and then I'm using these variables in my send keys. So if I do send keys here, see here, did it send it value? Yes, it did. Right, so that is how you say that you are driving your test case or any actions using the data from external source. That's why you say these kind of test cases are executing in a data driven framework. Okay, so that's why you are reading a data from external source, so that's why we say that your test case is being driven by the data that is externally stored, and you are driving your cases accordingly. Next.
Pawan, I have a question. So how did the Selenium know that we are supposed to can you go to that make my trip
Okay,
the second window that we are seeing
this one.
down second window? Yeah, that one. So it has couple of logins we are showing, right? We have connect using Facebook, connect using Gmail.
Yeah,
You have selected connect through Gmail.
Yeah.
Where did you mention that we are supposed to use Gmail?
Sorry, can you come again? What was your question exactly?
So right now you have automated using the Excel sheet login ID password. We did not give any hard code value. You are signing in, but here we have three ways of logging in. Like one is connect using Facebook, connect using Google, and we can give our email ID and password.
Right.
Right? We have three ways of doing it.
Correct.
And it just opened up using the Gmail,
Hmm.
connecting email. Where exactly you mentioned use this method?
Where exactly I mentioned what?
You asked the web driver to connect via using Gmail.
Correct.
So,
Hema,
question is,
Hema, this Pawan took the codes from the previous we did, right? 2 days back, like 2 classes back, we did login using Gmail, that Google account.
Okay.
We did the whole coding, so he just
Using
using
the
that one. That one, yeah. We did this.
Yeah. So I guess Hema, you might have not gone through the video about the window handles. I hope you were there part of this session.
I I was the part of session, but I think I forgot that. So since you have taken the element from there, it is taking us here.
Yes, correct. What I have done is I'm clicking on this connect with Google option. Simple. The pop-up window comes and then we are switching to that pop-up window and we are inputting these values. So now as in how I'm moving, I'm still in the first loop of my code where I have taken the first user credentials and I'm doing the login function. Still I have to move in the second loop where for the second user I am going to enter these details, okay, and perform these actions again. So consider this now password I have entered, okay. You won't be able to see it here, so let me do click and let's see if it logs in. Yes, it has logged in. Right now the thing is I haven't logged out, that's why the this particular, if on this particular thing again I do, I won't get those options like what for the connect with Google and all those things. So in that case I have to modify my code a bit. Let me modify a code. So what did I do exactly here? After clicking the sign in, I I directly moved back to the for loop where I'm expecting it to be clicking here again and then performing that login operation for elearn student 2. But somehow that option is not available. So I have to click logout here for sure. So in that case, what I will do, inspect element. I will say in input is the tag name and logout is the value. Okay. So let me find that element. So basically, what I am trying to show you here is, okay, let me quit the window directly rather than doing this. Okay, I don't want to confuse much. What I am doing here, I'm collecting for each row the values from Excel sheet, launching the browser, performing all the login actions for that particular first user, running the first loop for first user, and then I will close my browser. Okay, then again for the next user I am taking the values from the Excel sheet for the second user and then again launching the browser and performing all these actions. Okay, let us see by running this. So I'm not going to run this in a debug mode but simply a complete run. So you can see first, for the first loop, the login will happen for elearn student 1. Then I will quit the browser. Here in this particular thing, I haven't shown you the data driven thing yet. Sorry, the assertions. Sorry, I mean to say. See now again for this second user, it will enter elearn student 2. Yeah. So elearn student 2, and then the same password is there for it. So we ran this login related test for 2 times for those number of rows which are there as part of the Excel sheet. Team, did you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, Pawan.
Yeah. Now the only thing is this particular thing I want to add as part of the as in a unit framework style. So what should I do? Let me do this in a unit framework style. Is class login data driven unit test. Sorry. So I will say import unit test. Okay. And here I'm saying unit test dot test case. Okay. So first, I would say I won't write any setup and tear down in this case, but simple def test login for multiple users. Okay. So if this is my test method, then I will transfer all this code in this method by hitting a tab. So if I hit a tab, this whole code has gone. Okay, sorry, I need to give one more tab. Because the indentation should be correct when you are writing a Python code. Now I say that this is my test login for multiple users method, which is supposed to run a test case for multiple users. Right now, I am reading this Excel sheet as one time action. Then this is again a one time action that I'm doing as part of my test case. But this for loop will run the test case for the login sheet dot end rows times. So what is this? This is actually the value, that is 3, that has been returned for us, and from 1 up to 3 means 1 and 2 is the two index values that are assigned to user index. So this user index, we are using it as part of row values method. That's why this particular print you saw, right? For first user index, we started executing this loop for first user index, right? And then we took the values in the variables. So the first username has been fetched for the first loop that we are executing. Okay. For the same first loop, we have caught the user underscore password, and then we started executing the Firefox and all those normal actions that we do. Okay. So once I quit, so before I quit, I want to, assert something, that do I really, do I have really logged in successfully in this, right? So once I log in, let me do that manually. I want to add the assertion this time. Okay. elearn dot student1@gmail.com, and the password is student grade 1 2 3. So if you see, once it gets logged in, there are no such things available here, but we can put any assertions like clicking again here on this option, you will get a logout option like this. You can say, if I see a logout option, then I would say I am successfully logged in. First, let me inspect this element. Okay, so here with whichever user you log in here, you will see that user's details here. So once I click on SSL login, I would say logout option. If that is visible for me, then this particular test case passes for me. So let me do this way. Once click is done, I will wait for driver.set page load timeout, because the refresh happens after I click sign in on the pop-up window. Okay. And team, like, remember, we were working on the current window handle that was on pop-up window. So once we are done with this, then we have to click on, let's say, in just a minute, I will be back. Okay. Yeah. So, team, like what I was saying was, when I clicked a pop-up window and then I logged in there, I came back to this window. So I need to switch back to this driver handle again. So in that case, I have to say, what was my master window? This was my master window which I had caught, right? I have to switch back to this first. So let me do driver dot switch to window. So I would say master window. Okay. And then now at this step, I have moved to the master window, and again I will say driver dot find element by ID. The same thing again, clicking on the login button. So this was the thing, right? So I will copy this back. So this action ensures that after logging in, I am coming back to the my master window and performing this click operation, what you see. Once I click this, then I get this logout option. So this is the assertion which I want to put, that is logout option available, because for only logged in user this comes as the option. So let us say this as the thing, and I would say input as the tag and logout as the uh, option. So logout is one of the value attribute, so we can take it as a XPath symbol. So let's say print driver dot find element by XPath. And what is the XPath? Input bracket at the rate. This time it is a value attribute of that element that I want to verify with. So value is what? Logout. Right? So what I say is displayed. So this should actually print us true for us. Okay. and then it should close the browser. So I would say, let me say, is logout present. So this is a boolean value, and what is my uh, assertion that I can use? I will use assert true, simple. So if is logout present, that comes true, then I say my assertion goes true, and if false, then I say the login for user %s fade. For %s, what I am going to give is which user. I know that user underscore name is the variable that I've used for that particular loop. Okay, so let us run this. If this goes good, then the browser will close for sure. Okay, so team, again I'm explaining here. Up to this point, you have seen that we are doing login. Okay, but we have to switch to the master window, for which this step is necessary. Okay, in case of other login options, you won't be requiring the steps like switching back to other windows, just because we are supposed to deal with the pop-up windows, and that one of the part of our course. As part of our course, we have to understand that part as well. So I involved switching between the windows in this test case itself. Okay, now once I switch back to my master window, okay, then I have my master window handle back. So I'm clicking my SSL, SS login link, which is this link. Okay, and then I'm just verifying if logout option is there or not by using this XPath option. So if this goes good, then I say the login for user % went well. So this is for new line if you want to add in the print statements. Okay, this is just new line that I wanted to add, because I know that this loop will execute for 2 times, and I want to differentiate between these two loops. That's why I have added, and I will show you in the print statements. This adds actually 2 new lines after this print statement. Simple. And I will add here %username. Okay, so let us run this. So so the login will anyways happen. Okay, okay, sorry. So if you see, we have converted this into unit test case, and this is how we run the unit tests mostly. If uh, name equal to mean, colon unit test dot mean. Yeah, see, this is for the first user the loop has started executing. So you will expect the login should happen, and also the assertion should happen. We are expecting it to click here. Let's see if it does click. Mm, just a minute, team. Driver dot switch to window. Let me print here. Driver dot current window handle. Okay, I'm doing this before I am actually switching the window, so I need to do this way. So what is it saying? Okay, so it is throwing us the assertion saying that there is no such logout option present, but it didn't click actually this option itself. Let me check why didn't it click. Are we catching the correct ID? SSL login link. Yeah, we are clicking actually the correct ID. Driver dot switch to window. Okay. Then just give me a moment here. So hello student, we are clicking here, and then like how are we clicking this?
Hey, Pawan, I have a question here.
Yeah.
So where we are clicking hello student, I don't see that we are written the code for hello student. If you see here, we are switching it to master window. That is fine. So you are going back to your master home page. I don't see we are clicking anything on hello student login. That's the reason you are not able to see that
No,
logout.
I'm actually expecting because I want to click this element anyhow. So hello student is I'm not going with the text, right? I'm see here this particular click which I'm expecting. I'm not going with the text of that particular element, but the ID. So it doesn't matter for me whether what kind of student has logged in there as of now.
No, but as per the, if you do manually, right, once you log in, then you click on hello student link, right, that particular button
Hmm.
or a link, then only you are able to see your user profile information, right? In the user profile information, you can see all other links along with logout,
Okay, let us do
right?
this way. Toggle account. Let me do this way.
Yeah, I think that maybe that's what I was thinking.
Okay. Okay, let us run this way. So irrespective of whichever user logs in, actually this was coming back. Okay.
I think still it is failing, I guess. Yeah, still it is not gone through that.
I think, Pawan, you need to change the window handler.
So
I tried.
I have changed.
I tried the same thing. You can do the driver dot switch to window in the bracket driver dot window underscore handles 0 index 0.
No, no. The thing is, master window is something. Window handles 0 is already I have stored in my script. I had commented
But
that.
I think
I had commented that switch to window handle, right? So I've removed that comment and let's see. Mm, see, that is it now, yeah.
Or a timeout 60 seconds, is that is causing any issue?
Not really, because see, uh,
Or I think, Pawan, can you go back to that inspect window?
yeah.
The span ID is saying MMP profile picture profile
No, but if
fill,
you
right?
see, I have highlighted this area, right? And
Yeah, then it should have
if
gone.
I click anywhere in this area,
Or a login drop down item. There is another called login drop down item. So maybe they're doing something there.
oh, this one,
Pawan, Pawan, can you try
Yeah.
this instead of master window because it worked for me.
which one?
I just messaged you in the chat. Driver, I tried to do logout and this one worked for me instead of master. The driver dot switch to the master window instead of master window. Can you try the driver dot window handles 0?
Okay. No, but I don't think so. That would matter because master window is something the same value that it is carrying as what driver dot window handles bracket one is carrying, or window handles 0 is carrying. Sorry, because master window is driver handles 0.
There is some issues there. There is
I think it's
something.
not switching to the window.
Okay, let's take your suggestion and let's do driver. Okay, driver dot switch to where you're saying driver dot window handles 0 is what you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm, you said it worked for you?
Yeah, it worked for me. Uh, and I gave sleep between sleep 3 seconds.
No, but that's okay. But we have already put this set page low timeout.
Yeah, you have that.
So I'm just wondering what has gone wrong here. See, at the top, when I start my script, I have these two handles. I switch to the pop-up window, I perform actions, again I come back to my primary window, and then I do my actions. So yeah, this item is there, but
Pavan, I have to drop out. Sorry. I need to drop my son to his class.
okay, no problem. Anyways, you can check the last part of our recordings later.
All right.
Yeah,
Thanks, man.
okay, thanks, Hema. So, so driver dot find element by ID login drop down.
I think it is not identifying the login that
Yeah,
somehow it is not able. If you use a class name like PHF login link, click instead of you're trying with.
what do you mean to say?
If you use the class, if you go back to the inspect elements again window,
Mhm. No
you see
classes.
there.
So basically, the,
Pawan, I used driver.find element by ID and SSO logic link. So it worked when I did that.
no, but are you using the same code which I'm working right now? When I switch back to the master window again, because normally it works without switching. But after I am logged in, are you doing login and then trying to find this element?
Yeah, so like not today, I didn't do today. Last time when we did this script, you said we have to do logout, right? So till login you did, and after that I did logout one. So I
Okay.
switched to the window
Yeah.
and clicked on the login. So I used SSO ID by SSO logic dot click,
Wait, wait.
and then
I hope you haven't added this line, but you directly did this after switching to the window. You find element by ID.
idea. So I'm sending here in the chat what I did for one.
Okay.
So this is for complete logout. I was not finding if logout is there or anything. It was complete
Yeah,
logout.
yeah, I got your point. Switch the handle 0. Oh, okay. You put some hard switch here. Let me try this. It is still same error. I don't know. You might put complete is what you mentioned. Wait for 2 seconds. this is for the next user that started executing.
So why if you use sleep it is working, Pawan?
No, I'm surprised about this. Like how Kavita has written.
Yeah.
I guess the set page load timeout is what
I think if you remove the time off thing there, it might work.
I have removed it.
And now again it is not working, right?
Yeah, now again it is not. For first user, see here, for the first user it worked. Where is it? Yeah. See, for the first user it worked saying that login for user, this went well. But for this user, it threw error saying the login for user elearnstudent.2 at gmail.com failed. Because like the in fact the login did happen, that's why. So in fact there is another thing that I could show through this is for one user the login went good and for other it went bad. That's why you see the correct error messages coming as part of assertion error. So let me rerun this and like I don't know.
Are you clearing up the cookies, right?
Yeah, for see the cookies are getting cleaned every time I'm, whenever I'm launching that Firefox browser, I'm running this line inside the loop.
Okay, okay.
For the second user, what it will do, let's see. For second
I
user,
think it's
logging
yeah.
is.
Are you getting the
I
right?
think
Can you?
Oh, this I'm.
no, I think Pawan, I think you need to keep sleep time before the pass after login. Next button before the password. It's going very fast.
Where?
When we log in and we enter the password, we click the next button. After the next button,
No, no,
Or
no.
try with the login manually, Pawan, with the second user. Is it
No, the
working with
problem
second
is
user?
for the second user, actually, yeah, I mean,
Because I see that there's a Google
oh, wait,
giving
wait.
some or
I have
API or
already done here. That's why this has happened. There was one more browser instance that was running with Elan Student 2, I guess. That's why it was
yeah.
asking.
I think it will work now again.
Hmm. Uh, is there any? Oh my God! This is why. Why is this coming? We are deleting the
Yeah,
and it is asking.
I
Okay,
think you just click
okay, for
allow.
the first time. Oh my. Oh yes, yes. For the first time, I guess I need to do this first. Continue.
No, no, for that particular user, I think you're
Ah,
not
I
user
had
on that.
never logged in with this user previously in Make My Trip. That's why it was asking for allowing this credential password.
Yeah, yeah. So second user will not use. That's the reason.
So now again, if I run now it will work because I had never
Yeah,
done.
now it will. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, that's what I was saying. If you will not use the second user, maybe your earlier code also will work. Maybe.
yeah. Because second user I had not logged in because the Make My Trip, the application with my browser has asked me to allow accessing with Google account, right? So I have to allow
Yeah,
before logging in. So for first user it happened, and for the second user also it will happen now.
but why it is working only if you use sleep? We need to identify Pawan.
Yes. Just a minute. Let the second user get logged in.
Yeah,
So Kavita has figured out that magic. Okay, great. So if you see the console, so the login for user, when this message came, when we put the assertion here, and that assertion went well. What did the assertion say? Is logout present? So yes, the logout option was present for the first user. So this assertion went true for us, and then we moved further, saying that okay, the login for this user went well, right? And then there were double. So I added two new lines just to separate out the output. So that's why these two lines I printed. So the next loop started again from the top here, okay, for the second user index, and then the username and password, you can see these are the username and passwords that we got from Excel sheet. And then for the same user, that is the second user, we started working on all these things again. That is the login function. Kavita, I hope you got the point what I wanted to show.
Yeah, Pawan. I got it.
How about Sudhir, you? I hope you might have got this as
yeah, I got it. Only thing we need to we need to identify why it is working with only sleep.
well. Okay, let's even uh, this is, so
Yeah, without
hard
sleep,
sleeps is
there's a
never a good idea. Yes, you have to keep chasing after not putting any hardcore values. So let's see if this works.
yeah. Maybe second user is not. First user itself didn't came right.
Right.
Log out.
Right. So this will also work for sure, because last time the user was not allowed with Gmail access, so that
Yeah, maybe I was also thinking the same thing. So let us see. No, but first user itself, we don't see the screen. See now again.
yeah, for the first user now also it is not happening, right? What is it saying?
Yeah,
Okay.
it,
So once we are switching to this new master window, I have set page load timeout. By doing this line,
no. Can you remove the driver dot window handle 0 to master window? Maybe that.
no, how come?
No, the you change the code as per Kavita, right? So instead of driver dot window dot handle of 0, if you say master,
Okay, let's see. I doubt it because it is not clicking without switching to the window because we haven't switched to this window and then how will we it be able to perform these actions, right? So we have to switch
Yeah, we need to
to
switch
master
the
window.
window. I need to switch it to master window. You wait to master, I think that is correct, but
So this driver dot set page load timeout I will figure out. So team, this is all about just
or if you comment out the driver dot paste at timeout 60 seconds, let us see if it works. Yeah.
this way.
Pawan,
Yeah,
sorry to interrupt you. I have to go on, so I'm
yeah,
now.
no problem.
Okay,
Uh,
okay,
so anyways, we are closing this session. Nothing
yeah,
we are going to learn.
okay,
Anyways, you see,
okay,
right? With data driven, two times we could log in. Just it's about
yeah,
hard sleep, 5 seconds that we have to use.
okay, okay. Thanks for.
So I will
Yeah,
upload
bye,
this
Sudhir.
in second.
Yeah, okay.
Thanks, Kavita.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah, thank you.
Pawan, do we have a session tonight?
No, because Hema had confirmed last time that she is not sure about attending tonight. Like Monday evening, right? Monday evening your time.
No, no, I'm not. I'm talking about Sunday evening my time.
No,
Do we
Sunday
have a
she is
session
not.
today?
Sorry, yeah, sorry. Sunday evening she is not available is what she had mentioned last time.
Okay. So tomorrow we'll meet, right?
Yes, tomorrow means Tuesday morning my time.
Yeah. Yeah, yours for you is day after tomorrow. Yeah, I know.
So meanwhile, Sudhir, I will figure out like what is the
No, can we run now actually one last time before we close? Maybe the
want me to
timeout
run this now?
60 is maybe causing the issue.
Okay, let us run this.
And also, Pawan, is it possible for you to send each folder you have created, right? Each page code. Is it possible to send differently so that we start pasting that and start working on that?
Uh, you mean to say this folder?
Yeah, yeah. Each one you have written the code, right? Each page I think you have written basic unit test framework. There's a lot of code, right? You just copy paste if you can
So,
upload.
so I have shared this on the Google Drive. Are you not getting these scripts there?
Let me see. Let me see today. If not, then I'll ask you on Tuesday, or I'll ping you.
No, no, no.
Right.
These, so Kavita and Hema, they are accessing these scripts, and so basics of Python
Okay.
shared. See here, just a minute. Let me show you my drive. See, see here, these two folders I have created. You will be,
Okay. Okay.
yeah, you will be able
So
to.
maybe I'm just going to the recordings and I'm seeing that. Okay. If you already done, then that's good. Yeah.
So I'm always every day I'm updating this drive location with the files.
Okay. Okay. I'll go through that. Yeah. That's really easy.
Okay. So
I think
as of
still,
now,
I think.
sleep with 5 seconds is working. So let me keep this as it is for working.
Yeah.
Okay. I will let
Yeah.
you figure out why set page load timeout is not helping us.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay. So this is all about
Okay.
data driven way of driving the test case is what I tried to show. And now a few more options in the UI like the drop down and other things I will show in the next lecture.
Okay.
Okay. So
Yeah.
thanks, Sudhir, for your showing
Yeah.
up on weekend actually. Uh,
No, not a problem. Thanks for you.
yeah, the thing is, definitely, it's your cooperation that you would be able to turn up uh, even on the request of my on weekends. So that's grateful, and so that we can also run faster in our sessions, and we can learn things in a short period of time.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks, Pawan.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for, and have a nice day ahead. Uh,
Yeah.
see you then
Yeah.
Monday evening your time.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.